Okay, so finding missing angles is very similar to finding missing sides. The very first thing you should always do with your calculator is make sure that it's in degree mode. So to actually check the mode with the setting on the calculator, you'll go right here to mode. You're going to arrow down to where it says radian and then over to degree. I went too far. Over to degree. You'll hit enter and you'll notice the black box flashing around degree. Okay, so then you can clear off your screen and it is set. Okay, so finding a missing angle is similar to finding a missing side. We're going to go through the process of setting it up the same. In this top corner here is my X. So this is going to be my starting point. I'm going to put my stick figure in that corner. And then I'm going to label my sides, O, A, or H. So 30 being farthest away from the angle, it'll be O. 20 being closest to the angle, and between the right angle and the angle I'm missing here, that makes 20A. So the trig function that uses O and A would be tangent. I'm going to write down my formula. Tangent theta is equal to O over A. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my information from the picture. So I have tangent, my angle. Remember, theta represents the angle, and in this case, angle's unknown, so it's going to be X. And that is equal to O over A, so 30 over 20. We're wanting to get X by itself, so I need to move this tangent to the other side. Okay, so to solve for an angle, you're going to do the inverse of your trig function. So I have tan inverse, that little -1 up here in the exponent shows that it's the inverse of my sides, 30 over 20. Okay, so we're going to put that in the calculator. And if you look here across sine, cosine, and tangent, you'll see those trig functions with the little -1. To access anything written in blue on your calculator, you're going to press second. Okay, and so now that I'm wanting tangent, so I'm going to do second and then tangent. Okay, and I'm going to type in my sides, my ratio of my sides. So I have 30 over 20. So I'm going to arrow over to get out from underneath my fraction. I'm going to close off my parentheses. I get 56.30. Okay. Whenever we're doing the missing angles, whenever we're trying to find the missing angles, we typically round our answer to the nearest whole degree. So 56.3 would round to just 56 degrees. Okay, so looking at the next example here. Okay, X is up here at the top, so this is where I'm going to draw my stick figure. 14 is farthest away, so that would be O. 26 is across from the right angle, so that makes this side H. The trig function that uses O and H would be sine. So I have sine theta is equal to O over H. That's my formula. I'm going to plug in the information that I have from the problem. So sine X is equal to O over H. So 14 over 26. And once again, I'm trying to solve for X. It's an angle. So I need to move my sine to the other side. So I'm going to do sine inverse, 14 over 26. Okay, so second and then sine gives me sine inverse. I'm going to type in my ratio of my sides. So I had 14 over 26. Arrow over and close off my parentheses. 32.5 would round up to 33 degrees. Okay, so solving the next problem here. X is down here in this bottom corner, so I'm going to draw my stick man there so that's where I start from. 10 is closest to the angle, so that's going to be the adjacent side. 16 is across from the right angle, so that's going to be my hypotenuse. So the trig function that uses a and h would be cosine. My formula is cosine theta is equal to a over h. So I fill everything in. Cosine of my angle, which my angle is x, is equal to a over h. So 10 over 16. Okay, so I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to do the inverse. Cosine inverse, 10 over 16. Okay, so I'm going to press second cosine. I want my fraction bar, and I had 10 over 16. 51.3 would round to just 51. Okay, so setting up the next problem. X up here is going to be my starting point. So 7 would be labeled O, 11 is H. So the trig function that uses O and H would be sine. The formula is sine theta equals O over H. So I have sine x is equal to 7 over 11. So I do the inverse. X is equal to sine inverse 7 over 11. And when I type this in the calculator, I get 39.5, which would round up to 40 degrees. Okay, looking at the next example here. So x tells me I'm going to start down here. 9 would be a, 22 is h. So a and h tells me this is cosine. The formula is cosine theta is equal to a over h. So I'm going to plug everything in. Cosine x is equal to 9 over 22. So I have x is equal to cosine inverse 9 over 22. Plug this into the calculator and we get 65.8, which would round to 66. Okay, and the last example. X tells me I'm going to start down here. So 16 would be O, 30 is closest, so that would be A. So O and A tells me this is tangent. The formula is tangent theta is equal to O over A. So I fill everything in. Tangent x is equal to 16 over 30. I want to get x by itself. So I say tan inverse 16 over 30. And x is equal to 28.07. That would remain 28 degrees. That's how you solve for your missing angle.